Hello everyone out there, this is Alexander F. Onileri, and this was supposed to be a catalog of my journey into crypto, my personal journey through the crypto year. But the effect of Donald J. Trump's Reconomics has turned the whole crypto cycle upside down. Well, it upset the whole apple cart. So around April, I started noticing my back hurts. There was a trapped nerve in there. I've been to physiotherapy. I've been to psychotherapy. I haven't moved yet to Dubai because it would mean going to my crypto things that are down. The only things that are up are XRP, Solana, and Tron, which I'd been in from 2017, and Solana, which I bought when it was $23. Bitcoin dumped from 120,000 to 114,000. The Fed was supposed to cut rates down to size and start the last leg of the bull run running. But Jerome Powell has got this kind of antagonistic thing going on with Donald Trump, and he decided not to cut it. It turns out he was using the wrong data to quantify this decision not to cut rates. It also happens that a couple of people for the first time in 30 years, 40 years, disagreed with him. So it looks like we're gonna have to wait till September. Meanwhile, I'm getting stress in the back, stress in the neck, and I got like trapped nerves in this side of my arm. The project crypto announcement by Paul Atkins from the SEC was also supposed to boost this bull run. This is like a coordinated initiative to modernize the security rules and regulations. So I mean, listen to Paul Atkins, who replaced the Commandant Gary Gensler, announce this crypto project.
So today I should like to discuss what Commissioner Peirce, Hester Peirce, and I are calling Project Crypto, which will be the SEC's North Star in aiding President Trump in his historic efforts to make America the crypto capital. I've directed the Commission staff to draft clear and simple rules of the road for crypto asset distributions, custody, and trading for public notice and comment. Now, Project Crypto will involve a broad range of initiatives across the Commission. So first, we will work to bring crypto asset distributions back to America. The days of convoluted offshore corporate structures, decentralization theater, and confusion over security status are over.
Paul Atkins there. But another reason that we've got this crash apparently is because Donald Trump machine gun all these tariffs on all these different countries like Canada, Taiwan, South Korea. Kyle Chase says it best in this clip.
If you looked at the charts, you know what I'm talking about. Everything is red. And if you're asking, why did we dump? Are we at the top? That's exactly what we need to unpack first. This is the first real sign that tariff-driven inflation is starting to show up. At the same time, Trump announced sweeping new tariffs across more than 50 countries, hitting Canada with a 35%, Switzerland with 39%, India 25%, Vietnam and Taiwan at 20%, and big markets like South Korea and the EU and Japan at 15%. The market's reacting to real risk of stagflation, higher costs, and the Fed possibly pushing out any rate cuts to late Q4 or even potentially next year.
Kyle Chase there. I, like most heads, thought once Donald Trump won the election, he was going to send Bitcoin and Ethereum to the moon. How wrong we were. But of course, he came in with his tariffs and then his big, beautiful bills, and that's when my stress, I guess, started. That's why this video is called Crypto Stress. One of the main things for getting stressed out in crypto is when you put most of your money in shitcoins. The way most experts say, and the way I know it to be, is to put 50% in Bitcoin, 25% or so in Ethereum, maybe 10% in Solana now, or we would have mentioned back in the day, Cardano. This time around, it's Solana. And then you start going down the new L2s or L1s, or like Sui, Say, but you leave the shitcoins till later. But that's where the best gains can be gotten. I couldn't predict when this was going to happen, because normally it happens slightly earlier. Hence why I'm in a whole bunch of shitcoins. As I say, Tron, doing well. Bonk, SPX 6000, is that it? And Aerodome on base, and so on and so forth. So because of that, I've had to follow the macro influence on the market. I stopped looking at my assets. and followed M2 money supply. And this has predicted so far what Bitcoin is doing. But of course, I've been out of Bitcoin since 2021. It's not bad from 16,000 to 100,000. That's like 5x or something. I'm not here for 5 or 6x. But it would have been good to start with that and then move on later on down the line. But nobody knows when that's going to come in, because we know that most of the gains that you make in crypto or any investment in a year is normally just a certain amount, 10 days in that year that can do it. No financial advice. So if you're out of it during those 10 days, you're not going to make it. You get the usual stock exchange, 3%, 4%, and we're not here for that. I'm not here for that. Hence my stress. I can't stress it so much. I ignored Elon Musk and Donald Trump's fisticuffs. Let's listen to Patrick Boyle's tongue-in-cheek take on Musk versus Trump.
It's worth noting how difficult the last 24 hours or so have been for many political influencers, as they've spent the last year or so praising both Elon and Trump, and now they have to choose a side. And this decision is fraught with danger, as if they pick Trump and Elon manages to overthrow him, it's career suicide. They'll get banned from Twitter and have to get a real job. If they pick Elon and Trump then ships him off to an El Salvador prison, well, they'll have to delete their tweets rather quickly and be careful not to leave their homes without a passport and a long-form birth certificate in hand, as you never know what irreversible mistakes could be made.
Patrick Boyle there, a hedge fund guy and a professor emeritus. I followed the M2 money supply diligently. I ignored the Ukraine-Russian war. I also ignored the South Sudan, North Sudan war, the Congo conflict, and all what's happening in the Sahel. Its effect on crypto comes and goes. I ignored the Israeli-Palestine genocide topic, and I stopped trading because I'm not really here to report on the news in as much as they don't affect crypto. I'm here to document my own journey. So while I have opinions on those things, I'm just putting them to the side. And while I did that, I stopped looking at my platforms and I waited till Ethereum came back from the dead. With the Ethereum ETFs, the Ethereum strategy that people are copying what MicroStrategy did for Bitcoin, various companies are now doing it for Ethereum. Listening this morning to Rand from Crypto Banter explaining why the Ethereum ETF is going to be more vicious and more profitable than the Bitcoin ETF.
Almost another $500 million in the ETH ETF on Friday, right? So you've got this insatiable demand, this seismic bid from Wall Street into ETH right now, where ETH is starting to get more ETF inflows than Bitcoin is. So you can kind of see that even in Wall Street, they've moved from Bitcoin to ETH. And right now, the share of attention is very much on ETH. And it's not only the ETFs, there's like an array of treasury companies that have started buying insatiably. So you got Bitmine, you got SharpLink, you got the Ether Machine. There's a couple of other ones launching next week and the week after that I actually know of. And all of these are raising capital at a crazy rate. Now, do you want to bet against that?
Rand the man there from Crypto Banter. So there's so many treasury debt companies now going for Solana, Tron. One or two are now going to start doing the same thing for shitcoins, which means they're going to buy all these coins and stake them. And obviously this would make our bags pump. So it's just a game of waiting, really. And to be fair, since July when I had to throw a big party and I had to give some money back to an investor who wasn't sure about what was going on in crypto anymore, I sort of stopped doing Airbnb. My stress level's gone down. Also, as I said before, I went to a physiotherapist. And I've now booked my flight to Dubai. I failed to report on crypto companies doing their IPO, like Circle, Tron, and I think Solana will probably be next. And a few others have done IPOs. But Paul Barron looks at some of the IPOs that have taken place in the last few months.
One of the things that will happen, though, is in the IPO space. And the opportunity of seeing some major moves in IPOs onboarding, like what we've seen in the crypto space, could move a lot of that money over. So take a look at this clip. This breaks it down of why the big tech may suffer.
Because we have 4 IPO offerings this week. The floodgates are finally perhaps opening.
Well, I wouldn't quite call it
floodgates, but I do think that we're seeing a good opening here, and we're seeing it both on the crypto side, as you point out. I mean, Circle's up almost 6x, but with that kind of performance, I think you're going to see others try to hurry up and hit this window. I think it's going to be the growing dispersion of performance in big tech.
So I think he's right. I think we are setting up for maybe a renaissance within some of these early stage IPOs. One of the ones that obviously we are watching, much like what we saw in the performance of Circle, is XRP. Well, we'll call it Ripple, because Ripple's IPO is happening. Will it happen in 2025 is the real question. And if it does, if you look at just some of what the valuation could be, I mean, this could be a $100 billion company. It would be essentially be the most valuable company, especially in the crypto space, by leaps and bounds. Here, the ones to watch, of course, are Standard Chartered and Animoca. This is also tied into Ripple, some of the companies that are going to try to take part in this next generation economy, especially around crypto. One of the ones you got to watch is an Asian company called Animoca Brands. Animoca Brands targets a $6 billion US IPO. This, of course, again, is all coming in because of the pro-crypto shift that we've had here in the US.
Paul Barron there. Do I want to buy those shares and then find out that the spot asset itself goes up about 20x? I'm trying to rush from one to the other, so I'm just staying put now. All the TradFi coming in. Why are we still, with all the money pouring in, not 100xing and trying to be a good hodler? Good name for a film. So to be fair, I was quite happy when Pengu, which I have, XRP, and Bonk broke out. So I'll be pulling some profit out of that and putting it into top 10 coins and then doing a 3x leverage on them. Because I don't think, where are we going to now? We're going to get another 50% drawdown on these coins. But I'm still going to stick with my shit coins. Still going to stick with my stress. And I've booked my tickets to Dubai for 3 weeks to go and incorporate my various companies that I needed to do earlier this year. And I'm hoping I'd also take a bit of a holiday at the same time. Hoping 3 weeks in Dubai will make my kind of thoughts less toxic. In the meantime, I'm borrowing money collateral and sitting on the sideline and hoping to get in just in time for the big altcoin bull run. So until next time, this is Alexander F. Onileri saying, it's so stressful being in crypto this cycle.